Hello, welcome to a new video. It's Friday the 8th of March. It's absolutely freezing, it's really windy, but we find ourselves back at the Posh job. We were here just over Christmas, where we did a little bit of Scarifying with the Allett Stirling, but because it's so dry at the moment, it's a good opportunity to get on with a real beefier machine. And today we're going to be using the WEEDKILLER Scarifier that he has, because ye old faithful needs a rest and this job is just too big for it and we don't want to wear it out. So what I'll do is I'll do a comparison of the two Scarifiers that we've got, and then we'll use that and we'll see what kind of a job it does. So let's get cracking, because I'm cold and I need to warm up. Okay, so we've got our two Scarifiers lined up, and as you can tell, the WEEDKILLER just looks a lot beefier, a lot sturdier as opposed to the Alco 3800. This is a WEEDKILLER Intrepid 384 RB, around £1,300 if I remember correctly from what he said. Mine was about 700 17 years ago. But you can just see the difference in the metal deck. Mine's a plastic deck. The height setting, mine is just a twisty thing, whereas this is this thing where you have to twist this round, and the further this goes back up, the lower the machine drops, or the other way around. I've not quite fathomed it out yet, but I will do. On here we've got all these safety devices. We've got one, you have to lift that up, you have to flick the engine switch on, whereas mine, you haven't got any of those, you just have to lift the handle up. Weight wise, this is about 50 kilos I think. This is about 15, so there's a big huge weight difference as well. So this is great for me throwing it in and out of the van. This not so much. And for general lawns like where we've got a lot of fescue in here, which is going to be really tough to get through, you're better off with a sturdier machine, because that would probably, the dry belt on that would wear out quicker. This is just going to be better for this, and that's why we've got to look after ye old faithful and give it a rest when we can. If it's been sat in the van for 6 months not doing anything, we just don't want to start it up on a job like this. So we'll get this started and then we'll see what it does. Just before we start it up, if we just have a look, like, why are we doing this? The question you might ask. If we just have a look, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lot of sponginess in the lawn, and that's because of the fescue content. So we're getting that sponge, so when we lift our foot up, it stays compressed. So what we've got to do is we've got to battle through all that to get back to the soil level, and that's why we need to scarify all the time when you have a fescue lawn. And that's why I don't really go for fescue lawns, because of this sponginess. If this was a total ryegrass lawn, we'd just be sat on top of the soil level straight off. We wouldn't have to worry about a sponge accumulating, or as fast anyway. Thing is with fescues is they're just forever dying off and regenerating. Same with bents, they're just growing, dying off, and then that death just rots down, ends up on the soil, and over time just builds up and builds up and builds up, and then your new growth starts growing on top of that, and that's why you end up with that big spongy layer. So it's time now to get through this. So we're just going to give it a light one today. Enough just so we get on it with the mower after and pick it all up, because I've got the other side to do as well. And then as the weeks go by, we can keep doing it, and then in a month or so, maybe a bit less, we'll be in a position to get on with the seed and top dress. Now, as the feed that we put on last time has worn out, all these bigger patches are showing because they're hungry, because they're a bigger blade. They're going to take more feed, so they've eaten it all. But as this, like when the new seed comes through, hopefully, because we're not feeding these now, these will kind of stay pretty much inactive like that. The new seed can come through and then try and, we're never going to take over, we can try and grow alongside. Whereas if to feed those up now, the new seed wouldn't have a chance, because the competition would just get eaten by those. So yeah, if this lawn was like perfect like my other lawns, then we would be feeding today. But because we want to get the new seed growing and try and compete alongside like the patches over there, we're just going to leave it unfed, and we're just going to crack on with the Scarifying. If we come across any moss after we've done the Scarifying, we can put some iron on just to knock that back, and then next time we Scarify, we will take that out. But what we're going to be doing today is Scarifying and taking out what we put the moss treatment on for last time. But I've walked over and I can't really see any, so we did a good job last time. So anyway, let's get cracking. My hands are numb. Okay, so I've just done a few passes. I'm happy with where I'm at. I fathomed it out that the higher that screw goes up, the lower the machine falls. But if I just tip it back, just show you underneath, which I didn't do. We've got 4 different bars, each with a set of tines on. So we've got full coverage across one way, and then in the middle of that, we've then got a gap, almost like the Scarifying attachment on the Stirling. Even though it's not 100% coverage on the first row, you've got the backup behind, which then gives it, fills in the gaps. So you're getting a lot more out than you would do in the Alcor, because on this you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got 20 blades, but on the Alcor you've only got 12. So I've noticed that if we just have a look where I went a bit deeper here, you can see the different lines in terms of how close they are together, whereas on the Alcor they'd be like that, whereas on here they're really close together. So that's great going forward. Yeah, it's actually given me food for thought as to whether something like this would be for me going forward. Just I have to weigh it up, the weight. Just that worries me, because you know, getting things in and out of the van can be tricky. Does it fit in the van? Would I have to get a bigger van? Things like that. All these things have to be taken into account, but well, yield faithful, is still doing a job. We will continue with that, but should I get a job where I need to use this, I'll just borrow it, don't tell anybody. Okay, wow, right, that did a job. Going over, just have a look, kicking about a little bit. Yeah, it's picked it up nicely. We're just doing a little one today. Like I said, we don't want to go too mad, just we don't want it to look a mess. If it looks a mess for a long time, it's just not very appetising for the customer. So what it is, we'll do that really good scalp and get it back to soil level on the day we're going to be doing the seeding and the top dressing. Now, the stupid part of me went up and down, whereas I should have gone that way, because pushing up and down with the Scarifier was hard work, especially coming back up. But it's good for my CV health, it's good for getting back into it, because it's that late now because of the weather that it is going to be like kind of throwing me into the deep end. I've gone from doing very little to full pelt overnight, so I'm going to have to get used to it. So usually I like to break in gently, but yeah, this year with all the rain we've had in Bolton, I think since Christmas, I would probably say it's rained 95% of the days since then. So yeah, so it's just so wet. So I'm surprised how dry these lawns are, but it just goes to show you that we've got good drainage, which is good going forward. So we're going to use Mark's hater. He's got a 56 with minus 48, so we've got bigger capacities to pick up, so we're going to get the lawn mowed quicker. We're going to be able to fit more grass in the bag, and because it's got a more powerful engine, it's going to get better suction. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut the lawn just by the fact that we've raised up those grasses by picking everything up, so we don't need to go really low because it just won't be able to cope. So I think he cut it on 5 last time, so that'll be fine today. We'll get quite a good amount of grass up with that. We don't want to go too mad today because it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks before we start with the top dressing and seeding. We don't want to leave it a mess. We'll do that really vigorous Scarify and scalp on the day we're going to be top dressing, just so it doesn't look bad for a couple of weeks. And if you scalp the lawn and then we get like a really bad wet spell, there's a chance then the moss is going to regenerate as well. So yeah, let's crack on with that and let's see how we get on. Alright, so I've just got Mark's hater out, really sturdy machine, really heavy, no good for back of my van, it would do my back in that. But look what I've found. So he's been mowing for a year, and the grass bag, this metal bar should be inside the bag, not on the outside. So if he's ever wondered why the grass hasn't been picking up, that's the reason. Right, that's how you do it. Alright, so that is actually on 3. I thought he cut it on 5, but it was 3 last time. I've dropped it down to 4, but it wasn't picking up as well. So I've dropped it to 3, and as you can see, it's picking up nicely. So I'll continue on that, and hopefully, it's going to take me a few bags, but we can tip it over there in the little paddock that he's got, so we don't have to worry about disposal. But I think half an hour from now, this lawn should be cut and looking a lot better than it did before I came. So let's crack on. Alright, so that's the mowing done. As you can see, it's looking quite soily, which is good because that means we're through to where we want to be. We're back down to soil level already and we've only done one pass. So what we'll probably do is, over the next few weeks, before I come back, Mark's going to cut it every weekend. And what I'll do is every time he does it, I'll get him to drop the height down so that when I turn up next time, we're down to 2 or 1 if he can without scalping it too much. And then with Scarify, we can really hit that soil and get really deep. Give ourselves some nice lines for some seed to fall into, top dress it, and yeah, come mid-May, I reckon this lawn is going to be absolutely fantastic. There's no water issue, we've got all the sprinklers and everything, so they're not like underground or anything, but he's just got a good supply of stuff in the shed, got good water pressure, so there's no reason why there should be any problems with watering. Last year, even though we had 48 days without any rain, this lawn was green as anything, it didn't die off, so he's on top of that. So yeah, looking good. All right, that's this video done and dusted.
Hang on a minute, mate. What about that one?
As Mark just alluded to, we've got to do this side as well. This side always looks greener, I feel. Not sure why. Maybe better quality grasses or something, or different species was used, I'm not sure, but or just because it's in the shade a bit more, or all kinds of different things. But yeah, just similar thing again. It's exactly the same. Scarify and then more. And the aim of the game is just to get this grass down to a certain level by the time we get to overseed and top dress. So let's do it. Okay, so that's the scarifying and mowing done on this side. Same as the other side, just treating both the same, but I definitely think this side is going to be miles better. You can just tell by the colour on this side that we've got that this side is going to be special this year, because I remember when I did it at Christmas, it looked better when I groomed it and everything, it just looked better looking from the house. So yeah, looking forward to this side. Smells really lovely, like really got into those roots today as well, so we can smell all the grass, which gives us a sense of that spring is just around the corner, and all these empty leaves, empty trees will be covered in leaves at some point. And what that brings for us in terms of lawn care, in terms of shade and that, I don't know yet, because it's my first time here in terms of like summer, so we'll have to see about that. But yeah, looking forward to this one. Alright, so that's definitely this video done. Hope you've enjoyed it and you can maybe get out this weekend and do what I've done in preparation for seeding in a few weeks' time. Don't do anything just quite yet. I think it's still too early with this coldness in the mornings and the frosts. You're just asking for trouble. So give us a like and subscribe if you've liked this video, and we'll see you next time here on Daniel Hibbert Lawn Expert, when we will be doing something else lawn related. So take care and we'll see you then. But goodbye.